Hey everybody, it's Sarah from Teen Actors Lab college audition program. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that right now, and then at the end, shoot me any questions or comments you have below for sure. I love answering those for you. Does your body do weird things when you act? A lot of flailing arms or leg slapping maybe? Or are you just trying to figure out what to do with yourself when you're acting with your body? What do you do with your arms? What do you do with your legs? Are you stuck? An Instagram follower of mine recently asked the following question. She said, I struggle with not enough versus too much body movement, parentheses, arm gestures. I am super glad this question was raised because it literally comes up in almost every single coaching session or scene class ever, because so many actors, young and old, really struggle with this. Just also know this is kind of a massive topic and there's a lot of ways to get into it, but I'll give you a few things to keep in mind. A lot of actors work both on stage as well as on camera. And so if you do a lot of stage work where you may know that you're gonna use your body in big, full ways, and if you work for film, TV, on camera stuff, then you might know you don't necessarily need to move around so much. But it's not really helpful to say that it's big on stage and small for film or film, TV, camera stuff. Size alone doesn't really cover it. It simply isn't that black and white. I see actors that are so afraid to move in their audition tapes or when we're coaching on an audition together that they look frozen and stiff and there's no life going on. And then you'll see an actor on stage doing these big things with their body, but the movements are general and it doesn't seem to be connected to anything inside the actor. So when it comes to acting with your body, the big, small thing, depending on where you're acting, is just a place to start. No matter where you're acting, the movements in your body, every time you move your body, it must be connected to whatever you're playing, whatever you're acting, whatever you're living in the scene. How do you do that? Should you practice in the mirror? Should you film yourself? No. Well, not yet, anyway. Find out if you really, really know what you're playing. When you play clear actions or intentions and you have deep personal relationships to all of the persons, places, objects, and events in the scene, your body will naturally follow. Check out my other videos on YouTube in the playlists, also on the teenactorslab.com/blog section. If you don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to those things, go back and look at those first. I always play an intention game on the first day of acting class with a new group of actors. And first they have a couple of lines of dialogue that they do with no action, and then they do it again with an action that I give them. And they always find that when they play these actions, their body starts doing things they never planned. I remember watching an actress surprise herself when she played the action to mother in a scene, and she really caught herself off guard when she started to gently stroke the other actor's hair. So when you do this, even actors that are really uncomfortable with their bodies still, or are still feeling not quite sure how to act with their bodies, when they start doing this, they find that their faces change, their tempos change, and they're able to really be spontaneous in their body. Now, this work is done on stage as well as on camera, but is adjusted accordingly. When I was in my early 20s and I was rehearsing for my first lead in a feature film, I got really great advice from the actress Lori Petty, who said she got that advice from working with Robin Williams. She said, adjust it, otherwise you're gonna look like you've been shot in every scene. So yeah, don't get shot in every scene. Play the intentions, connect to the persons, places, objects, and events, and then just sort of keep your medium in mind. Super important note here. Just because you're acting for a video project or film or television, it doesn't mean that your acting is necessarily going to be small. Now, you can go onto YouTube and Google almost any scene from the actor Willem Dafoe. Just watch some of his, there's a lot of other actors with examples like this. But watch almost any scene he's ever done and you will not find small actions, small movements. He's big and it works. You can also Google acting on film with Michael Caine. He has a really great class that's on YouTube, and you can learn a lot about how to simply keep that in mind and make adjustments. But even if it's only your face that is on camera, your whole body is connected. You may not be moving around a lot, especially if it's a close-up, but your body is connected. A lot of TV and film actors have failed on stage because they never had to learn how to act with their whole body. So once your movements are actually hooked in to whatever it is you're playing or living, hopefully in the scene, then you're gonna start to look out for weird body habits. And this is actually where taping can be super helpful. If you film yourself doing something, you may see that the leg slapping thing is really common. Some actors tug down on their shirts. They have a nervous habit of tugging on their clothes. Get a coach to help you because you may not actually see them, but filming yourself can be helpful. You also just though have to keep in mind, you're not always the best judge of your own work, so try to look for those things that you can look at objectively. I don't really recommend working in the mirror. I think it's too hard not to censor yourself and it can make you do weird things. So don't do that. If somewhere along the way you discover with a coach or maybe working with a director that you seem to be cut off from your body somewhere, sometimes some actors don't, in fact, this was something I learned about myself, was that I wasn't using the full extension of my arm. I was sort of stopping and making these half gestures. Some actors do that. Some actors, you might see that they look cut off from the lower half of their body and they're sort of able to move around up here, but something's going on with the lower half. That is a great time to bring in an Alexander Technique professional. That is what they are so good at, helping you break down. You may be able to do some of it on your own, but working with a trained professional on that could be really, really helpful. So now, while spontaneity is key, some of your body movements when you act, some of the things you do with your body will be rehearsed in advance. Now I'm going to proceed with caution and clarity here. Some scenes require certain body movements to be rehearsed in advance, right? Like answering the phone, that's something you're going to do every time. And there are also actors who are really adept at using their bodies physically to tell the story. Actors like Meryl Streep are really good at this, and they rehearse the things they do with their body in advance. So maybe your character is lying. How can you physically tell that story of the lie, right? Do you avoid eye contact suddenly, or rub your eye, or look away, or bite your nails? What are you gonna do? Look for something in your bag. What can you do to tell that story with your body? Maybe you get really nervous, right? So you're a nail picker, or maybe you fiddle with your necklace and you've endowed your necklace to mean something to you, right? These are creative ways that you can tell the story. The other great thing about physical choices is that they're really gonna help ground you in the scene. And while you're gonna rehearse all this stuff in advance with your body, you're not gonna get locked into them, and that's the trick. You need to stay fluid, spontaneous, loose, and the best way to do this is to stay present and to keep listening. Listening. When you listen with your whole body, you're gonna be able to react spontaneously and with honest impulses. And then your body is gonna naturally follow. More on acting with your body one day, because there's so much I could talk about when it comes to this. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that already. Give it a thumbs up, shoot me comments and questions below, and I'll see you on the next one.